It's live.
It's live.
It's live.
So what do we have in the agenda?
Okay, so hello everybody. Today it's the third session of Mappinglab. So we will start to develop a different point of the day. For the day.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so maybe Analia, I start with the first point. Are you okay? Yeah. Okay. So for today, I'd like to talk about governance. I had a discussion with Domenico about it, and I forgot the next. Yes, it's there. And we talk about the structure of the lab. And he precised me, it was really important to make a difference between a lab and a project. A lab is not a project. And the first point is if someone wants to enter on a lab without personal project, it's not a problem. You can enter, there is absolutely no problem. The idea of the lab is just to exchange about different experiences, methodology, but you don't need to develop a project to enter on the lab. It's the first thing. And after, every subject we decide to develop in the lab, in general, begin a project. For instance, we choose to develop an atlas. For this, we start to do a listing of mapping project, a little video, and we want to develop a visualization like a public library. This is a project. So for each project in the lab, we need, as usual, to structure this with one coordinator, one working team, and some participants. And the coordinator of the lab, it's not at all the same coordinator of one project. So it was the first point, because it wasn't really clear for the moment, because we start really to develop the governance of each labs. So it was the first point. After, I wanted to share with you a reflection about the link between the labs in general and the design civic courses. Just to remind you, design civic courses for this year start next Monday. So in 3 days, in the same time in French, in Italia, and in Spain. It's the first time we did it. So the idea is to connect the different sessions. So the sessions start in January and finish in May. And for each lab, we define one coordinator. So for the French version of the Mappinglab, it's Analia and me, and we wanted to have some information about coordinator of Italy and Spain. Mario, are you officially the coordinator? Yeah.
Yes.
And who is the second coordinator?
In Spanish?
So in Spain you are the coordinator.
Yes, I am.
For the Mappinglab.
I am the Spanish version.
Okay.
Nasia will be in Italian.
Nasia will be in Italian.
Okay, super. Okay.
Something.
So
just to introduce Yannick, and this document that we met in the chat is the agenda of the things we are talking in this meeting. Maybe if you open it, you can follow better the conversation. Okay.
Please,
okay.
I don't see in this document where the agenda is.
No, we are talking, it's in the first part, in reflection. In reflection, Nico, it's the topics we are going to discuss during the meeting. And then about after reflection, for example, now we are talking about governance, for example, and pour the design civic. And then, do you see it? And then after that, we have list of participants. And then in discussion, there's where we are now. So we do a...
Okay. So just to continue, so Nasia, just to say you in 2 words, we talk about the governance in general for each lab, and we said it was really important for each project we wanted to develop on each lab. It was important to define one coordinator, a meeting team, a working team, sorry, and participants as usual. And for instance, the idea of Atlas we ever start, it's a project. It's to introduce our lab, but it's really a project. And about the design civic courses, so we said Mario is a coordinator for Spain, and you, Nasia, you are the coordinator for Italia. It's okay with this? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And apparently, maybe there will a session of civic design courses in London. I don't know for the moment if it's sure or no, but if there is, maybe Nicolas Fonti, who is here today, could be a coordinator or help to do this. So we will see what's happened after. And with Analia, we think that can be interesting to have a little hangout between coordinators to find soon a meeting together. What do you think about it?
Yes.
Nasia and Rio, are you okay with this idea to find a moment to just share together about the global organization, to be sure we go in the same way?
Yes, I think it's important to do that.
So we can talk about it after to find a good moment to do it.
Yeah, okay.
About that, just a point, we said to have a meeting of all coordinators of all the labs just to set lab protocols, but we could talk about that later. And Nasia, your mic is a bit noisy. If you can shut off when you don't speak, would be cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of kids.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I just put on the chat the 3 versions of the text for the design civic courses. I don't know if someone hasn't have the opportunity to read it. So it's our official text. Is it okay for every language? Each language I've received a correction. For the French, it's okay. For the English, it's okay. Is it okay for the English version? Someone verify and say it's okay.
I had a look at the English version, but now I haven't checked again if it's really changed, or have you changed the content of the description? No, it's the same. No, I mean,
normally it's the same.
Okay, so it's okay.
So it's okay?
Yeah, Mario had written this, so it was okay. I just made just small changes. But
I just, as I said, I promised me to add 2 notions. It was the notion of territory and the notion of connection. How mapping can be really an important tool to connect actors or to connect actions. But this notion connector and territories seems to me two important notion. Maybe that can be introduced on the other language, in English and Spain. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yes, I think that in the English version it's not updated. with this phrase with the territories?
Nancy, Aurelie, I want to say something. Please think that this document is going to be read for the people who most of them are not they don't have an expertise about mapping and about cartography. That's why I answered to some comment of Analia about to don't go to discuss to discuss about a more specified some words. For example, cartography, mapping, mapeo. I want a lot to start to discuss in another moment and with another kind of people of the lab. Maybe just the people who is here in this hangout. So what I want to propose is to start a discuss that kind of words and how are we going to explain something in discuss in the other tool of the civic wise, because I think it is more specified to understand what we want to understand for every word.
In order to that, maybe I could continue the link. I don't know, Aurelie, if I'm interrupting you, but following what you've been saying about the governance of this lab and about the connection with the design civic course in the different language, as you were explaining, we were trying to define what there will be the projects of specific of these labs. As you were saying, to be part of a lab doesn't mean to have a project, but does mean that we can create projects together between the context of this lab. I think.
But we are not obliged. But we are not obliged to create a project.
We're not obliged. The lab is a place to exchange tools and methodology. And as Mario was saying, for example, about the meaning of these words, I think it's really interesting to connect that with a project, a future project of this lab. For example, something that we have started a bit with Nicolas was the work of an atlas that could be a project in this lab to, as you've been seeing in this Excel list, to get together the mapping projects of the people of Civicwise. That's like is the instance number 1 in the Excel you have been and you have looked, and I will share again. And for me, the idea will be of this atlas, like make it bigger, and then as a real project, for example, visualize it. It's like that will be like a library open and en ligne in internet. For example, the glossary of the discourse of the words that Mario has been saying could be another project. For example, if Mario, you are interested in that, you can coordinate that project. We have to think what will be mean. For example, which terms we have we're going to start proposing to develop, and which people will be working on that. And I think these two works of glossary and an atlas should work connected, but could be two projects at the same time in this lab doing for between us. I don't know if I was clear and if you follow me. Maybe Yannick or Nicolas, that you're more external. I don't know if you...
I don't know if I have really understood the question, but
Could you rephrase, Analia?
Yes, what we were saying that it's now we create this lab. This lab, it's a place to share tools, methodology, knowledge, information about mapping, collaborative mapping. With Nicolas, we start sharing our research, and I know you have a really good research about it, about creating a start of an atlas of collaborative mapping projects. So we thought, for example, that it's a project in the Mappinglab. So we can say that these projects need to have 1-2 coordinators that will be taking care about the project, and people who participate, for example. I suppose maybe that could interesting to you because it's kind of your work, just to be informed about this project, about the meeting, the meetup, or your work about that. And as Mario was saying before, for example, a project about doing a glossary about terms of collaborative mapping could be also another work that we could do between the members and the participants of this lab. It's like this kind of works could be things we can develop in this context. And also what we wanted to know was if you have any other ideas of projects that we would love to develop inside the Mappinglab.
Okay.
It was more clear now?
Yes. I have shared a glossary, but the problem, we can do a glossary in the Mappinglab team and projects and in the lab, but we are going to find a lot of glossary and a lot of other projects of tools. For example, we are trying to create a referential, and I don't know how to say, of every tools of mapping. But it's very hard because there is a lot of websites where you can find this, and it poses the question of interoperability because there's not a problem of a lot of server with a lot of glossary or reference tools. We have to create some link between all this database, and it's also a big question is how to link all the projects. We are not going to do one big project with every word and every tools, and it's not possible. We don't have this object, and we can try to think about how to link all these projects that already exist. I think it's the aim, the first aim of cartography lab.
Yes, totally. It was something we talk a lot with Nicolas Fonti, that there exist so many initiatives that we want really to join them, to make them visible. And I think that's it's one of the most important idea of creating an atlas and creating a glossary, also to understand what does it mean this project and how to create labels and categories to understand the projects. I think it's really interesting what you are saying about the limitation about defining which tools we are going to use or we are going to map, and which tools or projects we are not going to put in, because honestly we are going to find some limits. So maybe the work doing in the glossary could help us to define or feel, just to restrain it. For example, we've been talking about just looking for tools or projects that will be problem with English, not dedicated, but really related to civic design. For example, with Nicolas Fonti, it's something that we thought like a collaborative project linked to civic design. That could strain a bit the field of work, but I don't know if everybody's okay with that. That could be a proposition.
We want to focus our research on collaborative projects, a collaborative mapping project, if it's what you said.
Collaborative mapping in link with civic design.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
Francesco, what do you think about it?
Say hello to everybody. I couldn't get it at the right time, I'm sorry. But I watched on the drive and I will watch the video as you suggest. I think you were or Eli or Analia, I don't know. And then, well, then I have a meeting with Nasia, so I maybe talk to her a little. So, but very nice work, and I will contribute. But this week was very tough.
You do as you
anyway,
can.
Guys, sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to say hello.
Hello, Fran.
Ciao, ciao. See you soon.
Ciao. Okay, see you soon. Take care. Okay. So yes, what do you think about it, Nasia, Mario, about the fact to focus our research on this thematic, design civic, and because the problem can be at one moment to lose us in different existing atlas, or if we start to find different existing atlas, that will be infinite. I don't know how I said infinite, but no limits research.
Yeah, I actually, maybe I get a clearer idea now, because I think I understand what you say, Aurelie, because, and no, Yannick, no sé cómo se... about this fact that there are a lot of projects and there will be this chaos coming up maybe at some point, no, right? So I don't know, I always had in my mind that it would be connected with the civic design course, but I think it's a good idea to focus on that for now, for the connection between the civic design courses and the thematics of collaborative mapping. I think it's okay, and it's not that chaotic, no.
Okay.
One thing, Nasia, just to be clear, we are not saying that we are dedicating the aim of the lab to the design civic course. We are saying that the research of the collaborative mapping of the lab will be in, like, we have the focus of design, civic design.
Yeah.
Is it clear that?
Yes.
Okay, super. I think could be a good thing to define, just like an objective of this session, and to start the project of the lab, to think how we are to organize ourselves to produce content and to produce knowledge. For example, I don't know, Mario, what do you think about taking care or being coordinator about the glossary? Is that what you propose? Do you think you're interesting?
No, Analia, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain my position in English. I have a problem when I read the different versions in different languages. As you know, my English is regular, so and I don't know French, but I can see the form how the French people use cartography like a word is not the same what I'm talking about in English about a mapping, and in Spanish mapear como verbo, like a verb, and map like an object are different form to use the verbs what we use in this lab. So when I was talking about to explain or to discuss the tool about the use of words, I'm talking about almost protocols to research into the lab. Understand? I don't want a structure and how did you say the project? Let me. Vamos, un glosario. Yes,
I think I understood. You are talking about the different utilization of the terms between the language and not necessarily working about defining the terms that will be.
I don't want to structure a project about glossary, but I think it's very interesting and necessary to define some words. I don't know if there are 5, 10, but there are not a lot.
Okay, but for that, it's like if we are going, it's really interesting just to do a different comprehension about the word of the meaning of these words in different languages. But for that, we have to define before the words. So it's like, yes. And that will be a glossary, in fact. Do you understand my point?
I think the collective intelligence of the lab must be into the discussion, you know, because when I will talk with Nico about procesos de mapeo, we are don't forget, Analia, the discussion in Telegram about collaborative and what was the other word?
Participativo, colaborativo.
La diferencia entre participativo y colaborativo. There are different categories which I think there must be defined to structure the lab.
That's exactly what I tried to propose, but I don't know if I think will be a really interesting work.
Let me define. I will be to do the I don't remember the word el glosario, the glossary, but if the glossary maybe it's 5 words.
Could be perfectly. I think we should define like the 5 main words.
Yes,
and
yes.
start working about it. It
So-
doesn't have to be 30 words, and then someone can
Yes. So
take the
I
word and
want
put
to say
more.
something else. If you want, you can write right now. You can write a task to the next hangout. I can begin the discuss the tool to start to talk about this topic.
One important thing about this glossary with 5 or 10 main words is to be sure to stay accessible, to have accessible language, no expert language, and propose a glossary as an access to the different work and not intellectual interpretation of different work. What do you think about it? Are you agree with this? To take care to have an accessible and simple language?
I was thinking about that, about the specification of the glossary, and I'm not quite sure. Because we are a lab, I think, for example, if we are defining participation, I would like to ask the others if we are defining participation in mapping or participation in general, because I think if we define in general, will be, as Aurélie said, more accessible, but I'm afraid that it loses some precision. And as a lab, I think we produce specific information. Maybe this information, if we are going to publish them, we can think how can we adapt that. It's like if we are talking about collaborative in general, I think for that it exists civic-wise, for example. But if we are talking about collaborative in this laboratory, we should speak what does it mean collaborative in mapping. But I don't know, Nasia, Yannick, Nico, or Mario, what do you think about?
Yeah, I
think-
was. Yeah, go on.
Just maybe a balance between both. I think that can be good, but Nasia, what do you?
I don't know. I always thought that the meaning of collaborative is fixed, you know, in general. It's like collaborative. We use this word and we mean something. And it's true that, okay, it can be used in a different way when you're, I don't know, when you're mapping or when you're in a place and you need to do something, construct or whatever. I mean, I thought the meaning was the same, but I'm trying to think about to understand better what we mean by that and what you mean, Analia, that you said for mapping, for example.
I don't know, for example, I'm really interested also in defining these words. I think, for example, in, I don't know, participation, participative, collaborative, etc. But I think if we define that in really long terms, like in abstract terms, we are not going to produce any specific material that could help us to understand the projects in which we are working. But it's something before starting. So I don't know. It's like a presumption. Is it clear? Maybe what?
Yeah, I understand. Yes.
So the question is, I don't know, Mario, what do you think? But if will be defining in the context of a mapping lab or in an open context?
It's I have a clear position. We start to discuss in con un piso y un techo with a specified limits. We are talking about to the territory. We are talking about the mapping, about participant projects. We must begin with the limits to do the context.
I think it's a bit the key, what Mario said, that if we think that we are linking this definition to a territory, we are going to, the glossary would be able to let us to define a context. It's, I think, the same problem as Yannick said that we have with the atlas about restraining our objects or field of study, we will have with the glossary, in spite of defining which words we want to describe.
I don't understand, Analia. Can you repeat?
Yes, I think as we have the problem with the atlas about defining the field of study, for example, we said that we're going to study a project, collaborative mapping project in link with civic design. In the glossary, we will have the same problem. If we don't close a bit the field of the study, our definition will be really large. It's more clear now?
Yes, so that's what I think. I must begin defining the limits.
Okay, so you propose that each one write 5 words to define. It was your proposition, Mario. I think it was something nice to do.
Have you ever used Discourse, the tool? So
yes.
I think everybody can write a words which think to start to define.
Now you want we did it now?
No, in since tomorrow up to the next hangout.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to share a discourse because maybe Nicolas and Yannick don't know them necessarily. Discourse is the forum that we use exactly for what Mario said, to define concept, to think about them. Everybody can put their comments. So Mario, if you want to, you can create an entrance for everybody puts their commentaries. Maybe in the entrance, define a purpose or some indication for people just to follow this start of
Don't worry, Analia. I'm going to create a document with the protocol to discuss, and as soon as I create it, I will share in Slack.
We love you, Mario. Okay, perfect. So that will be really nice. About the atlas and the glossary, we saw that some people also put their information in the list, but I would love to think how we can do an evaluation of this list really quickly. For example, Nico, I don't know if you agree, or maybe Yannick, what do you think about the categories of the list? If they are good to have a really fast, quick view about a mapping project, or if we have to add something else. And if we validate and we think it's working good as a protocol, we can start filling it about projects that we are interested in. I imagine that as a first instance, and as a second instance, doing a public library as a Pertles or another sharing platform about libraries online. I don't know. The list is the Excel, Nico. I'm going to share it right now. I don't know if you see it. It's the list we've been working. Yannick, you that you are like a kind of expert searching projects of mapping. What do you think about this form, these categories, or the proposition of information?
Excuse me, I'm going to leave, and I look at the discourse subject. It's what you are talking to.
No, I was talking about the Excel list that you fill when you put the information about your project.
Okay. Yeah,
but don't worry.
I have filmed mine, but I don't add the video, the link to the video, but it's 5 minutes to do.
Maybe I can say something while you are leaving now, Yannick?
Yeah, excuse me.
Okay. No problem. See you.
Okay.
So, before you leave or while you're leaving, no, the list is great, but I think that's maybe we talked about classifying the projects into families of projects, like, and I think that could be interesting to focus on what we want collaborative. Well, I think we have to focus on mapping for civic design, and the mapping can be collaborative or not. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's an option to talk about. But everything that is how each project of this list is helpful for civic design. So I think that could be the kind of column we could create, and to say what's the relation of each project to civic design, and then that will help us to maybe to build some family and to see how this is interesting. This is another project not very connected to our interests.
It's really interesting.
I think. Oh my God! I think I think it's a really. Analia, ¿cómo digo quilombo en inglés?
I
a
don't
big
know,
problem. In the first design civic course, we tried to create a tool which is named CV Metro. In the CV Metro, there are a lot of categories to analyze the different levels of the CVs in the projects. So I don't know. I think it's too real what Nico said, but how Nico said, there are a lot of categories.
I think it's really interesting what Nicolas and Mario are saying. If we can think about some tools that would allow us to describe how is the work between the helpfulness between the project and the civic design, it's not really evident to ask that question. I don't know, Nico, what do you think? It's like, if we can settle at least a protocol or or some categories to answer that question, because I'm really interested also to be able.
Analia, something else. In my workshop, Urbanismos Invisibles, in the final part, I'm working to implement a new exercise to learn to define a tool, a special tool to work in a collaborative project mapping. So I'm working to define a questions. Do you need a proper server? Do you count with a lot of people who can walk in the city asking to the people to do a mapping, a presential person mapping? Asking something strategy things to can define the best tool to use.
Okay, just to, I don't know if, I think we will be, just give us this last 15 minutes to close the session, because I guess that people have to go, and I think it's being a really good session, and we can dedicate this last 15 minutes to settle an agenda, objectives of the next 2 weeks before the next session, and how we are going to organize ourselves to the work we have to do.
I'd like just to finish with design civic courses, because I hadn't the opportunity to finish about it. You can find here a visual. I did a visual. I'd like to know if you are okay with this visual. I share it in the group chat and on the Slack now. If it's okay for you, we keep it, or if we want about the discussion we just had, if you want, I can change the words if you think it's not a good word to define what we do here. Another thing is for the civic design courses, apparently there is a presentation about the labs, about the different labs, the 31 January, so at the end of January, and for the moment we haven't really a lot of information about it, but we had to prepare it and reflect about what we will show and which format. Someone has more information about it, or not for the moment? Mario, Nasia, do you have information? Or
Aurelie, sorry, I'm lost. I didn't understood. I didn't understand. Can you repeat again?
Yeah. Okay, I will speak slowly, more slowly. For the design civic courses, there is a presentation about the different labs. And one day, and Nicolas, or I don't know who, choose the 31 January, 31 January, to do this presentation of the different labs. And so I ask you if someone else have more information about it, because me, I see nothing about it.
Now I understand. Okay, Artemi is who is coordinating the relation into the new students in the Spanish course. And they just are talking about to have I don't know, the a first or the a special hangout with the new students between in the students in the 3 languages. And if there is this hangout, there is when we are going to presentate the labs.
Okay.
But I think there is no a special date to this meeting. But if I know the date of this meeting, I obviously I will tell you.
Okay, I saw the 31. I don't know if it's still okay, but okay. So we will have more information after about it.
Let me ask, and if it is how you say, I will tell you.
Okay. Okay. And to finish, it's more specific with French news. But we organize different meetup from February to June in Paris at Volume. Shame Yannick leave us, but doesn't matter. We choose to develop different meetups. So there is the meetup of CivicWise. The next meetup is in February, but no link with our subject. But in April, the thematic is mapping, and we will talk about the mapping of Fab City and Arc Innovation Arc. And we want to talk also about the Mappinglab and the meetup space dedicate on the mapping thematic organized by Yannick, who was here. Yeah, so in April there is a specific thematic about mapping. So we could present different research, and in March and May there is the meetup of Yannick about mapping. So not direct link with us, but Analia and me help him to develop this meetup. And in June there is a meetup about civic design courses because we want to present the restitution about all the French session, and maybe in link with the other, certainly, but focus on the French version. And so that could be the opportunity also to talk about the Mappinglab and the link between participants. So it's not really important for you, but I wanted just to share this information with you, and maybe that can be there can be a link with other meetup in Spain or in Italy. I don't know, but maybe that can be interesting for the meetup of design civic courses, for instance, in June, to have two meetup in link. I don't know. We can reflect about it at one moment. Yeah, it was just information about it. Nico?
Yes, I unmute. Yeah, I propose you 2 homeworks if you're okay with this. I think we could start a Google document with and each of us we could propose five words that we would like to be defined. So if we see that already someone has proposed it, we have to propose another one. And maybe we can start to make small definitions. That's a proposition. And the other homework maybe we could do is try to look at the list of projects that Analia and Aurelie have started, and look if we can see families, and look at this concept of civimetro you were saying, Mario. Maybe we can call it civic meter, no, in English. I think it would be okay, and see if we and see how the projects are connected to civic design. What do you think?
I think for the words that you propose to create a Google Doc, well, it's exactly the same that we've been saying in this course. It's the platform that we use to discuss about terms. So what Mario proposes to create a link. So we will share the link in Slack. So will be like more practical, but it's just the same, just you to understand it's the same idea. And about the list, I think it's really interesting, important what you said, but just to try to find families, maybe we have to try to get the list longer, because now we have 10 projects that there's only the project of CivicWise. So it will be difficult maybe to find similitudes and about between the projects. Maybe something we can do like homework. It's just try to fill a bit the list with the projects that are not exactly the projects of CivicWise people. For example, the project that you have in your atlas and I have in mine. As just to say, okay, we're going to have the 30 projects that we think they are like the key as a homework. And then with the words of the list, with the term of the list, we could create like the mapping method, I don't know, and trying to find the families, because I think we don't have enough material in the list to define the families.
Yes, so but we can try and start. Sorry.
Yes, totally. We can try. Personally, me, I think my research that I have on Google, like just for myself, I'm going to try to get the list bigger. So we could have also that project, like 30 more projects, to start having families together. But I think the work that you are proposing, it's the key for doing a good job.
Okay.
Let me come back again to the CV Metro. When we made that, what was the work? We start to discuss the categories, the tags of the civic projects. When we discuss about that, we can create big categories where there is a tags into the categories. I don't know if I'm clear, but what I think is I would like if everyone can study how the CV Metro is created to understand what I am proposing.
For me, as I understood what you said, CV Metro or Civic Meter, it's just the it would be how a project is civic or not, or how much civic it is, right? Okay.
Yes, that we also had some discussions for this project during the local camp in Paris, and generally it is a complicated issue, and but it would be good if we also have the publication that we produced during the first version of the civic design. So maybe it's in Spanish though. And I don't know, you could find some information there if you, I don't know, you want to study and research on that. We have the publication on Drive, I think, too.
Okay, Nasia, can you put can you search the link and put it maybe?
Yeah, I was doing for the PDF with the publication, right?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I will do that.
Well, should we set a date for the next Hangouts? Two Fridays will be
I
okay?
propose the 20, if it's the next Friday. Everybody is okay with this, or
27. Yes.
20? No? Okay, you want the next week, not the next week, the week of after. Okay.
27.
Okay, 27, no problem.
Perfect. So each one will be dedicated a bit of each work, and we will share the exchanges and the actualization in Slack, if
Yes.
you're okay.
Analia, when it will be the meeting sessions?
Sorry, Mario?
When it will be the meeting sessions?
The meeting, when? They're always on.
¿Cuándo lo vais a poner al día? Porque yo estoy viendo, no sé dónde tomó notas Nico, pero en el meeting sessions no está actualizado. Digo, ¿cuándo lo actualizaréis?
Ah, no, sí, estamos tomando notas en el meeting session. Te lo paso porque probablemente no estás en el documento correcto.
¿Dónde estáis?
A ver. Ah, porque yo estoy en otro documento que Nicolás. ¿O no?
CWN Mapping Meeting Sessions. ¿Es el último enlace?
Mira, abre el que te pasé yo. Ese tiene todos los comentarios de hoy. El que te pasó Nico, ahora lo abro, no sé qué es.
Espera, a ver, son estos dos últimos, ¿no?
Todo lo que estuvimos conversando está en el meeting está actualizado. Lo que no sé si estás en el documento correcto.
Es que yo voy al final y la última línea pone Next meeting will be 23/12 del 16.
Claro, no. Tienes que ir al principio donde está la sesión de hoy. No al final.
Yeah,
o sea, siempre la última.
Sometimes I also get confused with that.
No, what I understand is like the first session, the last session is just in the beginning. It's not at the end.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, it's the same. I check it also. So everything is in the minute. If you want later, Mario, you can read it.
Sorry.
There's a lot of information.
A last thing, I think I don't know if it's my problem, but a lot of people is beginning the session with CivicWise login. So when we are talking in the chat, you don't know who is talking. So please, I'm going to talk with Frenchy to be clear who is going to recording, because just who is going to recording must use the CivicWise login, and the other people please use the personal accounts. Okay.
I had the same thing some other time in another Hangout, but I will. Okay, I will ask you later. Actually, something, Mario.
Okay. Perfect. Well,
someone else have an idea or suggestions or a wish for this session or for the next session? Nasia, Mario, Nico.
No, it would be good if we start developing all these things we said with the definitions. If that would be really helpful.
Okay.
So just that. I mean, no, I'm okay. I like it.
Okay. So thank you, everybody. We can stop the broadcast. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next session.
Ciao.
Bye bye.